Welcome to Wisdom from the Mountain, a podcast about intuition, spirituality, and following your path. I'm your host, Tara Alexandria. I'm a psychic medium, intuitive guide, and healer. I'm here to support you to live from your intuition and find true healing and authentic growth. Thank you for being here and for your willingness to live your best life, for yourself and for the world around you. Welcome back to the podcast. Thank you so much for being here and for listening. Today we are looking at the full moon. So it's October, and I wanted to include in this episode a little preview of the energy that is coming in 2020. You'll remember, if you have been with me for a while, that I talk a lot about the yearly energy. This is because the readers around me focus on the yearly energy. I hear a lot about it, and some people look at it through a numerological lens, some people look at it through tarot, and others look at it through astrology. I, of course, focus on the tarot aspect and what I feel from the card, what I feel from the number that is represented, that the year adds up to. So I'm going to go ahead and dive into this month's full moon messages. And as I look at what has come up for you in the past 2 weeks, what has come up for all of us energetically within our lives, within our bodies and minds and emotions, I want to just lay out for you this sense of change that might have come up for you this month. This sense of newness or clearing. If you'll remember from the new moon episode 2 weeks ago, I talked about this deep energy of harvest, this rich harvest coming forward, where you could look at everything that you were working toward this year, everything that you were building, everything that you were changing, healing, growing with, growing through, and reevaluating or evaluating where it is that you are putting your energy, where it is that you were giving your all to something, and where you were holding back or where you really needed to put energy in order to see something grow, in order to make progress in your life that you really choose, that you really want to see. And with this full moon, because in full moons, it's all about releasing, shedding, letting go, really getting into a space where we can define what isn't serving us and move it along out of our lives. So with the full moon, we're looking at releasing behaviors or beliefs, emotions, people that just aren't working for us anymore, that just aren't here for us. And we choose a new direction. We choose what to fill our time with instead of whatever that thing is. We don't necessarily have to add anything. Sometimes it's just allowing what's already in our life to expand into that space, to give ourselves more time, more energy, more support for what really matters to us, instead of letting that energy be lost to something that just isn't right for us, that doesn't serve us. And one space that I'd like to just center you in is the understanding that every time you let go of something, it is 100% up to you. It doesn't matter if something is taken from you. It doesn't matter if it seems like it's someone else's choice. So I'll just use relationships as an example. We can think that if we lose a relationship where the person broke up with us and we didn't have that opportunity to make a choice, the decision is still ours because we can hold on to everything, who we were, who we feel like we are with that person. We can hold on to memories, physical objects, just the entire feeling that filled that relationship, and we can refuse to let go of it. We can refuse to really move forward. And I have been there, and I know how much deep change it really takes to move forward, to let go of something, but we have to first realize that it's our choice. So if we're functioning from a space of not noticing that it's in our power to actually make the decision to let go, to leave something behind, to move into what's better for us, then we aren't going to do it. We're not going to get there because we don't realize, like, hey, this is 100% up to me. This is my choice. And so, no matter what it is that you are letting go of right now, that you are really considering moving out of your life in some way, just know that it is fully your decision. It is your choice. Just as when we choose to heal, when we choose to do any healing work, it's our job to open up to the space that we can create inside of ourselves to heal by letting go of old emotions or old feelings, or by addressing old things that we've never looked at, old events, things that happened in our childhood, things that happened in a relationship, things that happened at any point in our life that we haven't kind of excavated in order to examine and really see how it affected us, see what it did in our life, what action it kind of generated, and letting it go in some way. Or if not letting go, doing whatever type of healing work around it to transform the feeling, to transform the effects of what it brought into our life or what we allowed it to bring into our life. Because really, it's all about transformation. But without kind of emptying ourselves out, we cannot fill ourselves up with something new, with new life energy. What I feel that we deeply have right now is a sense of vision. So in the new moon, I had this overwhelming feeling of us being gifted with clear sight. And I mentioned that this is rare, and I believe it is. What I mean by this is that there are moments in life where we have this stark clarity for ourselves about who we are, where we're going. We can see ourselves in this hyper clarity, whereas in the rest of our life, we kind of walk around and don't really see ourselves or hear ourselves. And even if we are very self-aware people, it can take a lot of work, a lot of digging, and a lot of change in order to get to the point where we can really witness ourselves, our own behaviors, and see them for what they are. This is why we have therapists. This is why we have life coaches. This is why we need other people in order to help us understand ourselves. But right now, we have this great time period of just having vision available to us, vision for ourselves. So right now, having this clear sight of what you want, or having these clear feelings for yourself, for your path forward, for what you want to heal, for who you want to be, for how you want to be in this world, holding on to that clear vision and really feeling into it is what's going to give you the understanding of what doesn't belong in your life anymore, of what isn't working, of what you can let go of. And you can see, because that vision is here, you can see what it will allow space for, how you'll be able to fill up with other feelings, other emotions, other experiences, because you're making space for them. You're creating space for more joy, for more beauty, for essentially living a more aligned life. When we get into alignment, we're essentially just opening up to our own path and what's right for us by clearing out what shouldn't be there, what doesn't belong there anymore. That is essentially all aligning is. It is a big process, and it's often a lot to figure out on our own. But That's really the core of it. The core work brings us down to that. And one thing to remember is that sometimes we feel alone in this. Sometimes we feel like we're the only one letting go, doing healing, doing the shedding and releasing work that it takes in order to heal our past or to become the person we want to be or to move forward even one step. I like to remind myself of other people's stories. That's why I love having interview guests on here. That's why I love to follow people that I really admire online or reading their books. For me, it reminds me that we're all on this human journey that essentially has all of the same characteristics. We all feel them differently, we all experience them differently, but really, the path that we're all walking is incredibly similar. That's why we all relate to archetypes. That's why we all understand the basic human dramas of this world. That's why we resonate with particular books and individuals in our life that have been through something and share their story because there's something in it that we resonate with, that vibes with us and makes us feel like someone else is going through it or someone else is experiencing this. And sharing that is comforting or joyful. There's something rich in it. There's something rewarding in hearing it. And for me, it gives this sense that there's a reason for everything, that we are here for a reason, that all of this is adding up to something much greater than ourselves. And this really brings me to the culmination of my message for this month, for this full moon. So, full moons are generally about releasing and shedding, right? But this full moon itself is like the mother of all of them. It is really asking us, and not just asking us, but in a really confronting way, coming forward and saying, what needs to be shed? What do you need to release in order to go forward better, in a way that's more right for you, that's more balanced, that's more aligned, that's more healed? What do you need to pay attention to? And it is making us pay attention to it. It may be that you've needed to make some changes for a while. It may be that you've needed to make very big changes for a while, and now they're coming in. They are just suddenly arriving at your door, and they are knocking loud. This brings me into the 2020 energy that we are beginning to experience, that we're essentially being given a little preview of during this whole month of October, and specifically during this moon cycle. 2020 is a year that invites us into so much stability and strength and power within ourselves. It invites us into our deepest creativity, but a creativity that has the ability to thrive only with a consistent structure around it. So it reminds me of just this sentence by an author named Steven Pressfield. Steven Pressfield is a writer, and in his book, The War of Art, he says, "Put your ass where your heart wants to be." And he's essentially talking to writers in this book. The book is about dedicating yourself to what you're doing, no matter the outcome, no matter the amount of rejection that you have, or no matter if you feel like the book isn't coming together, or whatever the work is that you're doing. And he says it's about coming to it every single day for hours, because it is your craft. It is what you're supposed to be doing. It is what you feel called to in your heart. So put your ass in the chair and write, because that is where your heart wants to be, in the writing. And obviously, that will apply to whatever realm of your life that it applies to, whatever craft you're dedicated to, whatever it is that you're building for yourself in your life. But it is important to stay focused and structured with it. It is important to be disciplined. It is important to be present and to show up, to bring your full self to your work in this world. And your work in this world does not have to be what you are paid for. It does not have to be the job that you go to every day. The work that you're doing in this world is the mission that you feel in your heart, the values that you feel in your soul need to come forward onto this planet. We all come here with individual gifts. We all come here for a reason. And it's about living out that reason, sharing that gift, sharing the values or the energy that you want to put out there. You have to show up and believe in yourself. You have to show up and believe in your voice, in who you are, in what you do, with a dedication that is unchanging and unchangeable. In 2020, you have an opportunity for incredible growth. And that growth is based on your ability to show up fully. And right now in October, this month, okay, this moon cycle, it has given us, and it is giving us for the next about 2 weeks, this understanding, this really deep understanding of next year's energy. It's like a preview. We are being shown where we need to prune the plant that is our life. We are being shown what we need to get rid of. We're being shown what needs more water, more food, more nourishment, and we're being shown how to take care of it. The more that you can show up with clarity around you, which means getting rid of the clutter in your life, getting rid of what you're doing just to fill time, what you're doing just to please other people, and really letting those things go, even if they feel like risks. Because when you let them go, you are clearing the space. You are clearing all of that space so that you can be fully present with what you most want to be showing up in the world as. You can be more yourself. You can grow that business that you've been wanting to create. You can write that book that you've been wanting to write. You can put that energy in and move yourself ahead on your path in a way that you see, that you believe in, that you trust. It's so different from this past year. This past year was really an energy around divine timing. And it's not that divine timing suddenly doesn't exist. It's just that 2019 challenged us to center ourselves in waiting, or in riding out a storm that showed up, or in just being with life's waves and letting them wash over us without taking us out. But this next year is an opportunity to really make the actions, make the decisions, stand strong in yourself, and life is going to respond hugely because you are being shown this energy of co-creation. You are living this energy of co-creation in a bigger way, in a broader way, and it's helping you to see that your path is not just living you, but you're the one creating it. You're the one that's really bringing your own blueprint forward. And as much as I talk about listening to what Spirit says, listening to where you're guided and where it is you want to be, it's about being here now and showing up in that energy now and being very, very aware that whatever it is that you hear, whatever it is that you're listening to, if you don't take action on it, it isn't going to happen, come forward, change, shift. It isn't to discount the times when divine timing is pushing you to really learn it. It isn't to say that when things aren't working that we always need to push. It's just the lessons that are available to us that are coming up. They are all about action, all about the present, the now. And it's all about your power. It's about channeling your power in this strong, creative, and structured way. Structure is such a friend to creativity, but often we think of them as extremely opposed. But without the structure, without knowing where the materials are that you're using to create something, you can't bring that creation into existence. You need to have the understanding and organization of energy, whatever that might be for you. If you're a writer, it's going to be your tools for writing, your time for writing, and your space for writing. But on top of that, it's about your time, the energy you bring, the presence you bring, and the way that you channel yourself into what it is that you're creating. Give yourself all of the support that you need right now, no matter what form it comes in. Thank you so much for being here, for listening, and I hope that this served you deeply. Keep listening to your inner wisdom. You're the only one that can walk your path. I will see you in the next episode, and be well until then.